Welcome to the Jamodi podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is Jamodi, just a matter of doing it. Coaches, the Jamodi podcast is sponsored by 3on3 Hoops Hub. 3on3 Hoops Hub has run over 350 3on3 basketball leagues for kids since 1997. 3on3 is the ideal format for players to get a lot of opportunities, work on all skills and positions, and have fun with their friends. Whether you want to build your program, raise some funds, or start your own business, you can bring 3on3 to your community and do it like an expert by learning from the best with 3on3 Hoops Hub's free 90-minute training. You can register at the link in the show notes. What's your favorite style of basketball to teach and play?
Man, I love up tempo. You know that we love to get up and down, love to shoot the three offensively, and just give our players a lot of freedom, space to make plays for themselves or their teammates. Really love more positionless basketball. Just doesn't mean that you don't have any positions, especially at the college level. I think positions just tend to blend a little bit. So maybe you only recruit 3 positions rather than your more traditional 5 positions. But I like, if you're looking at overarching style, just both sides of the ball, I just like to lean on people and just constant attack mode, and just kind of not let you take a break, and just, it's like water getting through the dam. It's like at some point we're going to break you. And I want you to feel us every night.
I love that right there. I'm stealing that next year when we're talking about how we play. What have been some of the good things that you've seen from taking your style of play to the college level? And then what have been some challenging things?
The good thing is you can kind of recruit to it. You can and you can't, because although you can pick your players at college, they don't always pick you. So you can recruit to it. I think you have more time for skill development, just like one-on-ones with players. I think we've gotten very specific with what our players need. I think at high school sometimes it can be kind of more general.
Yeah.
And then some of the challenges is defenders are longer, more athletic, more experienced. The coaching, I was going to say the coaching's better. It is and it isn't. I think the preparation is better. I think there's great coaches at every level. The biggest difference I can see is just the level of preparations that teams can prepare for you. Just because there's more staff, there's more time, there's more film out there. And then probably players at that level are more used to kind of taking a scouting report to the floor. But, at the end of the day, a lot of the basketball has been really pure. Like the things that really were good for us at the high school level has been good for us at this level too.
You mentioned something about defenders are longer. I was talking with a coach about, it's kind of fun. I was talking to a coach about the way we play, which is the way you play. And so they ask a question, what do we do because we don't utilize ball screens very much. I mean, it really is more of a creating double gaps and triple gaps and exploiting those, and then finding the best shot as fast as possible. And then when we talk about shooting, we define what the best shot is, but sometimes it's different than what some other people might think is the best shot. And we're comfortable with taking that really early on. But I get the question of, if they're bigger, faster, stronger, what do you do? Do you change? Do you adjust anything? And I haven't really had good answers to them, because my gut instinct, like the water in the dam, is no, just keep going, keep pressing, keep pushing. But what is your advice to playing the way we like to play, but against bigger, faster, stronger? What do you do?
Yeah, that's a good question. I was actually talking to a coach in the Atlanta area not long ago. He just got his first head coaching job, and he's like, "Look, man, I'm really talented for the next couple of years. I might not be after that. Am I setting myself up for failure in a few years by committing to this style?" And I thought it was a great question and good insight on him, because he's looking more, program wide rather than, hey, I'm coaching a team this year. But I told him, like, look, if you're going to tell me that we're going to play against a better team, whether they're bigger, faster, stronger, if we walk it up, like we've got a whole lot of work to do,
Yeah.
especially with a shot clock. It's like we're going to walk it up. So now we have 20 seconds to find a great shot against people that are superior. Um, I would say let's get that thing out of the net. Let's run. Maybe we get a 5-on-4 and we get a shot before we turn that thing over. In your shot clock, the last 10 seconds, and especially the last like 4 to 5 seconds, your points per possession or points per shot are just abysmal. So honestly, I think the lesser talented teams I've coached, I've been of the mindset, let's shoot it before we turn that thing over. Because the longer we have it, the less likely we're going to be successful. And the other coach, the other side could easily say, let's limit possessions. Let's give that bigger, faster, stronger team less possessions to score on us. He's right too, or she's right too. It's just what fits your style. Like what are you going to wake up and be super enthused to coach and be fired up every day at practice? Because I'm not going to be fired up to say, hey, let's walk it up. Let's get 8 reversals and then maybe we'll find a good shot. And I don't want to recruit to that either. You watch all these press conferences with coaches, no one says like, hey, I can tell you right now, we're going to play really slow.
Yeah. It's going to be the most boring basketball you've ever seen.
Right. Although it sometimes it ends up being that way, like our pace was 13th in the nation this year.
Nice.
Pretty good, for better or for worse, and so we say we play fast, we do play fast. And I just think it's one of those things where philosophically we could both be right. It's just what are you going to commit to? What do you enjoy?
I think you're right on the money with that statement. Like, it's not a matter of just because I believe a certain way. Like, there's times where those coaches that we don't have a shot clock in Texas. Those coaches that do have the ability to up 21-20 in the second quarter with 6 minutes left, hold that thing at half court. I always think, what's the other team doing? Like, why are you allowing them to do that? But it's what they believe is right. I am 100% opposed to doing that myself. And our teams of faith will not play that way. But my answer to a question to that sometimes is you'll lose. If you telling me you're playing a bigger, faster, stronger team, it's more skilled, there's a chance that you could play your style to the best of your ability and lose. But that's it. You got to accept that, or else you're looking for a style of play that doesn't exist, one that will never help you or allow you to lose a game.
Yeah, and two things that resonated with me with what you just said is, when I played slower as a coach earlier in my career and we were down by like 10 in the fourth quarter, it was abandon everything we practiced. Now we got to score. Like we've got to attack now. We can't run our offense.
And if they're not used to that, what do?
You're not very good at it, right? And then also, if you're in a, high school, even colleges, we all kind of, it's ebbs and flows. We fluctuate. We have years where we're more talented, years where we're less talented. With your less talented teams, it goes back to where we started the conversation with culture, is like, what is your culture? Like, what is your style? What is the feel of your program? Because I think if you're always changing, we're talented, so we're going to play this way. We're not talented, so we're going to play this way. But now we're talented again. But so these kids were freshmen, sophomore in our program, and now we're pivoting and playing a different way.
Yeah.
I think the more consistent you are, that's where you get 2 + 2 = 10.
Identity. Like, do you really want, if you have great players, it doesn't matter what style you choose. You're probably going to have an opportunity to win most games.
Yep.
But those years where you don't have the best players, which is most of us, I would say the average coach out there, the majority, don't have the highest ranked players on their team, right? There's not that many of them. So you better have an identity that your players can grab onto, something to hang your hat on. Listen, fellas, I know we're down 8 right now with 3 minutes left, but just keep firing away. This is what we do. Like, there's power and there's confidence that comes from that. But, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get up on that.
No, you're right. I mean, identity is super important, and I don't think it's an identity if you don't stay with it through the bad too. That is not your identity if you're always resulting, like you said, and just changing. So pick a style, put some blinders on, and do the best you can. It's kind of like the plays versus players. You know, we want better players probably making plays rather than teaching them how to run plays. That's just kind of what I've always enjoyed about the game.
But there are great plays out there that and great coaches that can dissect and articulate. I guess at the end of the day, you realize you can't be everybody. You can't be I can't be Coach K and Paul Westhead at the like there's parts of them that we can take and choose, but then you do kind of, and I don't know how long it takes. You know, it's like anything else, it takes what it takes for you to become comfortable. This is what style just gets me excited every day to come to the gym.
So my journey there was like when I made this commitment to play like this, because I wanted to before I actually did. And before our first game that season, I was like, oh man, like it's like pregame warmups, and I'm like, oh, are we about to do this? You know, because speaking of like the more talented team, I wasn't sure we were the more talented team, and I'm like, how is this going to go? And we played lights out. I mean, we scored
nice,
like 87, 88 points, and like it came to that point in the fourth quarter. I was like, are we going to score 100? And thank goodness it worked like that first game of the year, because we never looked back.
Yeah, our journeys are so similar in kind of finding our way in this. Is when we had started to run and gun at McKinney, and really, I mean, me and the head coach there, he allowed me to trusted me to do a lot with the offense. And then when I came to Faith, first meeting with the guys, they'd averaged 50 points the year before, and walking it up and throwing it into with double post sets. And I said, guys, listen, we're gonna shoot 70 or more shots a game, you know, and we're going to shoot 30 to 40 threes at least every game. And then I had one other goal. We're going to press the whole time, because I was pressing at that point. And so we started a whole fall doing that. Before our very first game, I felt so sick. And because it's way different from being an assistant coach. If this thing fails, it's all on that guy. And then you move over, we're down 13-8. And we can't buy a bucket the first quarter. We end up scoring 87 and winning by 30. But it was just, and dad came up to me after, was like, is every game going to look like this? Is this what it's supposed to look like? And I was like, heck yeah, it is. but yeah, that moment of this is going to fail.
That identical. And the dam broke on them, right? So you were down by 5 and then win by 30. Just constant attack mode.
I wish I could say that always happens, but we'll always have the chance. Spurtability, man. We always have a chance.
That's right.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the Jamodi podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.